In the realm of philosophy, few thinkers have left as profound a mark on our understanding of consciousness and experience as Edmund Husserl, the founder of Phenomenology. Husserl embarked on an ambitious philosophical project aiming to uncover the essential structures of conscious experience that shape our perception and understanding of the world around us. Unlike traditional philosophy, which often grappled with abstract concepts and metaphysical inquiries, Husserl sought to ground philosophical inquiry in the concrete realm of lived experience, the world as it is directly apprehended by the conscious subject. Husserl's phenomenology invites us to shift our focus from the external world of objects to the internal world of consciousness, to explore the very act of experiencing itself. It is an invitation to delve into the intricate workings of our minds, to examine how we perceive, feel, think, and ultimately, how we make sense of the world and our place within it. This inward turn, however, is not a retreat into solipsism or subjective idealism. Instead, it serves as a methodological starting point for a rigorous and systematic investigation of the structures that underlie our experience of the world, structures that are universal and essential to any possible experience. Phenomenology, as conceived by Husserl, is not merely a descriptive endeavor. It seeks to uncover the essential structures that make experience possible. It is about understanding the fundamental principles that govern how we perceive, understand, and interact with the world. In this sense, phenomenology can be seen as a quest for the transcendental, not in the Kantian sense of a realm beyond experience, but in the sense of seeking the conditions for the possibility of experience itself. Through his groundbreaking work, Husserl provided a new lens through which to view the human condition, one that emphasizes the centrality of subjective experience in shaping our understanding of reality. His ideas have had a profound and lasting impact on various fields, including philosophy, psychology, sociology, and literary criticism, inspiring generations of thinkers to explore the rich tapestry of human experience. To fully appreciate the revolutionary nature of Husserl's project, it is crucial to understand how phenomenology distinguishes itself from other disciplines, particularly psychology. While both fields share an interest in the human mind and experience, their approaches diverge significantly. Psychology, as a scientific discipline, primarily concerns itself with the empirical study of mental processes and behavior. It seeks to establish general laws and principles that govern human thought, emotion, and action, often relying on quantitative data and experimental methods. Phenomenology, in contrast, adopts a radically different approach. It is not concerned with explaining the causal mechanisms behind mental phenomena or predicting future behavior. Instead, it seeks to understand the essential structures of experience itself, the invariant features that make any experience, regardless of its content, possible. Husserl believed that beneath the ever-changing flux of our subjective experiences lay a deeper, more fundamental layer of consciousness, a realm of pure structures that shape and give form to our perceptions, thoughts, and emotions. To access this realm of pure experience, Husserl proposed a method he called phenomenological reduction. This method involves a deliberate suspension of our natural attitude towards the world, a bracketing of our taken-for-granted assumptions about the existence of an external reality. By temporarily setting aside our beliefs about the nature of the world, we can turn our attention to the pure phenomena of consciousness, to the way things appear to us in their immediacy, unmediated by our preconceived notions and theoretical frameworks. This bracketing of the natural attitude, however, does not imply a denial of the existence of the external world. Rather, it is a methodological tool that allows us to shift our focus from the objective world to the subjective realm of experience. It is about understanding how the world appears to us, how it is given to consciousness, before we impose our interpretations and judgments upon it. In essence, phenomenology, as envisioned by Husserl, is a science of essences. It seeks to uncover the invariant structures of consciousness that make experience possible, the fundamental principles that govern how we perceive, understand, and interact with the world. It is a rigorous and systematic attempt to grasp the very essence of what it means to be a conscious subject, to experience the world and ourselves from the inside out. At the heart of Husserl's phenomenology lies the concept of intentionality. a term he borrowed from medieval scholastic philosophy but imbued with new meaning. Intentionality, for Husserl, refers to the fundamental directedness of consciousness, the idea that consciousness is always consciousness of something. In other words, our minds are not empty vessels passively receiving information from the external world. Rather, they are actively reaching out, engaging with, and intending objects. To illustrate this concept, consider the act of seeing a tree. When we see a tree, our consciousness is not merely filled with a jumble of sensory data, it is directed towards the tree as an object of perception. We experience the tree as something that exists independently of us, something that we are aware of. This directedness, this aboutness of consciousness, is what Husserl calls intentionality. Intentionality is not limited to perception, it permeates all aspects of our conscious life. When we think about something. When we remember something. When we feel emotions, we feel them towards someone or something. In each of these acts, our consciousness is directed towards an object, whether it be a physical object, an abstract concept, or even a fictional character. This intentional structure of consciousness has profound implications for how we understand the relationship between our minds and the world. It suggests that the world as we experience it is not a pre-given reality that we passively receive. Rather, it is actively constituted by our consciousness through intentional acts. Our minds, through their inherent directedness, project a web of meaning onto the world, shaping and forming our experience of reality. Understanding intentionality is crucial for grasping the essence of Husserl's phenomenology. It is the key to unlocking the mysteries of consciousness, to comprehending how we, as experiencing subjects, actively participate in the construction of our own reality. The Section 4, the lighthouse analogy illuminating our world. To further elucidate the concept of intentionality, imagine a lighthouse standing tall on a rocky shore. The lighthouse itself, with its powerful beam of light, serves as a metaphor for consciousness. Just as the lighthouse beam cuts through the darkness, illuminating specific areas of the vast ocean, so too does consciousness shine its light on particular objects and aspects of the world, bringing them into the focus of our awareness. The ocean, in this analogy, represents the pre-given world, the realm of potential objects and experiences that exist independently of our consciousness. However, it is only through the illuminating power of consciousness, symbolized by the lighthouse beam, that these objects emerge from the darkness of obscurity and become objects of our experience. The analogy highlights several crucial aspects of intentionality. Firstly, it emphasizes the active role of consciousness in shaping our experience of the world. We do not passively receive information from our environment, rather we actively select and illuminate certain aspects of it, bringing them into the foreground of our awareness. Secondly, the lighthouse analogy illustrates the selective nature of consciousness. At any given moment, we are only conscious of a small fraction of the world around us. Just as the lighthouse beam can only illuminate a limited area at a time, our consciousness can only focus on a limited number of objects or thoughts simultaneously. Finally, the analogy underscores the dynamic and fluid nature of experience. The lighthouse beam does not remain static, it sweeps across the ocean, illuminating different areas in succession. Similarly, our consciousness is constantly shifting its focus, moving from one object to another, from one thought to another, creating a continuous flow of experience. The lighthouse analogy, while imperfect, provides a helpful visual metaphor for understanding the concept of intentionality. It reminds us that our consciousness is not a passive observer, but an active participant in shaping our experience of the world, selectively illuminating and bringing to light the objects and phenomena that constitute our reality. Section 5. Shaping Reality, the Constitution of Experience. Central to Husserl's phenomenology is the idea that our experiences are not merely passive reflections of a pre-existing reality, but are actively constituted by the intentional acts of consciousness. This means that the world, as we experience it, is not simply given to us. Rather, it is shaped and formed by the way our minds interact with and interpret sensory data. Consider, for instance, the experience of listening to a melody. The individual notes, as they strike our eardrums, are nothing more than vibrations in the air. However, through the active engagement of our consciousness, these disparate sensations are synthesized into a coherent whole, a melodic structure that transcends the sum of its parts. We perceive not just individual notes, but a melody with its own rhythm, harmony, and emotional tone. This act of constitution is not limited to sensory perception. It extends to all aspects of our experience. Our understanding of concepts, our formation of judgments, and our emotional responses are all shaped by the intentional structures of consciousness. The world, as we experience it, is not a neutral backdrop, but a dynamic and fluid realm that is constantly being shaped and reshaped by our active engagement with it. This constitutive activity of consciousness, however, does not imply that we are free to create any reality we choose. While our minds play an active role in shaping our experiences, they are not operating in a vacuum. We are constrained by the structures of our embodiment, the shared cultural and linguistic frameworks that we inhabit, and the brute facticity of the world around us. The relationship between consciousness and the world, therefore, is not one of a solitary mind imposing its will on an inert reality. Rather, it is a dynamic interplay, a reciprocal relationship in which consciousness both shapes and is shaped by the world it encounters. Our experiences are the product of this ongoing dialogue between our minds and the world, a dialogue that is constantly unfolding and evolving throughout our lives. Understanding the constitutive nature of experience is essential for grasping the full implications of Husserl's phenomenology. It challenges us to rethink our assumptions about the nature of reality and the relationship between our minds and the world, inviting us to see ourselves not as passive observers, but as active participants in the ongoing creation of our own experiences.